Unlocking Tesla's forbidden 369 secret. Nikola Tesla once claimed that if you understood the magnificence of 3, 6, and 9, you would have the key to the universe. But what did he truly mean? These numbers connect to suppressed natural frequencies that govern our reality. This isn't just math. It's about energy, vibration, and the very fabric of consciousness. Discover why these numbers hold power beyond what conventional science teaches. What stood out about Tesla's fascination with 3, 6, and 9 was that it wasn't confined to his laboratory. It showed up in his daily life. He often walked around the block 3 times before entering a building, and he preferred hotel rooms with numbers divisible by 3. These weren't quirks for him. They reflected a conviction that these numbers pointed to something deeper woven into existence. Tesla was convinced that energy, frequency, and vibration formed the true foundation of reality. Matter, in his eyes, was only the visible result of these unseen forces. Within this perspective, 3, 6, and 9 became markers, signposts suggesting an underlying order that he continually sought to recognize. He looked for these numbers not only in his electrical experiments with harmonics and resonances, but also in the rhythms found in natural systems and even planetary motion. He saw these repeating appearances as evidence of a universal principle rather than mere coincidence. Mainstream science, however, has consistently regarded this interest with skepticism. Tesla's focus on patterns and symbolic meanings is often labelled as numerology, or dismissed as anecdotal rather than empirical. Many proponents of his ideas accept this interpretive angle, seeing value in what the numbers represent symbolically, even if they do not fit into conventional scientific models. From this standpoint, Tesla's relationship with 369 is not about having established a scientific law. It is about his conviction that these digits revealed something reality itself was trying to express. This perspective also set him apart from his contemporaries. Instead of staying within narrow definitions of physics, Tesla followed intuition and observation, moving into territory where science, philosophy, and mysticism blurred. He imagined a universe that was not just particles in motion, but a dynamic expression of resonance and rhythm. For Tesla, then 3, 6, and 9 were more than numbers. To him, they symbolized access points to deeper patterns in nature, whether those patterns are interpreted as mystical codes or as byproducts of mathematics. What remains clear is that he understood the profound role frequency plays in shaping how the world is experienced. And it is frequency that takes us to our next critical question. For many who study Tesla's legacy, the most controversial chapter in the story of frequency is what's often called the frequency war. The shift from tuning music at 432 Hz to the modern standard of 440 Hz. Before the mid-20th century, tuning varied across cultures and even between orchestras. But many composers and researchers lean toward 432 Hz, which proponents claim resonates more closely with natural harmonics, from biological rhythms to cosmic cycles. They argue that this tuning fosters harmony because 432, when reduced through Vortex Math, equals 9, a number Tesla often linked to deeper universal patterns. In this way, advocates connect 432 Hz directly to the 369 code. The adoption of 440 Hz as the global tuning standard dates back to 1939, when international bodies endorsed it for uniformity. Some argue that this decision was influenced not only by technical considerations, but also by industrial or political interests, suggesting that the move deliberately shifted music away from its so-called natural resonance. While these motivations remain matters of debate, the shift undeniably created a fixed framework for modern music that continues today. Supporters of 432 Hz point out its mathematical links to natural cycles, such as planetary orbits and the pulse of the human body. Many listeners also describe music tuned to 432 Hz as calmer, warmer, and more coherent, claiming it produces a sense of balance. By comparison, 440 Hz is sometimes described as harsher or more tense, with critics suggesting it subtly contributes to stress and disharmony. Some in sound therapy fields go further, arguing that exposure to different tuning systems can have measurable psychological or physiological effects, though it is important to note that such claims remain contested. Mainstream science has not reached a consensus on whether a specific tuning frequency has any significant impact on well-being. To understand why some see Tesla's fascination with numbers as profound, we need to look closely at the pattern known today as Vortex Math. Imagine you start with the number 1 and keep doubling. 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64. Using a method called the digital root, where you add the digits of each result until you're left with a single number. The sequence simplifies into 1, 2, 4, 8, 7, and 5. Double again, and you circle back to 1. What you get is a 6-number loop that repeats forever, like a carousel with only 6 seats, each occupied in turn as you go round and round. But pay attention to what's missing from that cycle. The numbers 3, 6, and 9. If you begin doubling from 3 instead, you get 3, 6, 12, 1 plus 2 equals 3, and immediately you see a closed loop between 3 and 6. The number 9 behaves differently still. It always remains 9. In mathematics, this isn't a mystery of nature, but the natural result of working in base 10 using what's called modulo 9 arithmetic. Put simply, the digital root of any number is just its remainder when divided by 9. That's why 3, 6, and 9 appear to stand outside the main loop. For anyone seeing this for the first time, it feels striking, almost as if the numbers are separating themselves on purpose. Mathematically, however, the picture is clear. It's a remainder cycle produced by multiplication mod 9 in our number system. In one line, the balance is this. Mathematically, it's a visual pattern of modular arithmetic, engaging to look at, but not necessarily a hidden cosmic code. Yet, this was exactly the kind of pattern Tesla paid attention to. The repeating loop of 1, 2, 4, 8, 7, 5 mirrors an oscillating flow, while 3, 6, 9 stand apart, almost like overseers of the process. To Tesla and later proponents, this separation carried symbolic meaning, echoing ideas they saw reflected in sacred geometry and energy flow. To mathematicians, it demonstrates the power of modular arithmetic. Two perspectives, one pointing to universal design, one grounded in number theory, coexist around the same diagram. This duality, scientific explanation on one hand, symbolic interpretation on the other, captures the tension at the heart of Tesla's legacy. And it makes us ask, if patterns that inspired him could be reduced or dismissed in mathematics alone, what happened when his practical innovations began to threaten powerful interests in the physical world? Tesla's later years revealed how fragile his position had become. He struggled with financial hardship, and his once celebrated reputation gave way to isolation. Even so, he continued to envision systems of wireless power and the possibility of energy made freely accessible to everyone. These were not small technical improvements. They challenged the very structure of industrial monopolies that depended on metering and profiting from energy. To many proponents of his vision, it is this very challenge to entrenched systems that explains why his most radical concepts met resistance, neglect, and ultimately what some interpret as suppression. One area of his work that stands out is his focus on resonance. Tesla believed that by tuning into the right frequencies, energy could be transmitted with far greater efficiency than conventional methods allowed. Although his devices, such as the Tesla coil, demonstrated aspects of this principle, his broader claims about unlimited free energy remain controversial and incompletely documented. Still, his emphasis on vibration and pattern tied directly into the 3 to 6 to 9 symbolism he carried throughout his life. In this way, His scientific work and his fascination with numbers were never truly separate. From the perspective of many supporters, his setbacks, such as the devastating fire at his laboratory in 1895, or the withdrawal of funding when backers like JP Morgan saw no profit in wireless energy systems, fit into a larger story of suppression. According to this view, these pivotal events were not just unfortunate accidents or business decisions, but part of a consistent pattern designed to keep transformative technologies out of public reach. At the same time, historians caution that such interpretations remain debated. What can be said with certainty is that Tesla's struggles left much of his later work either unfinished or clouded by speculation. The heart of the claim about suppression is not only about lost patents or abandoned devices, it points to something broader. The effort to keep ordinary people from realizing that vibration and frequency could empower them on levels both technological and personal. For Tesla, resonance wasn't simply a tool, it was a principle of life. And if patterns of power pushed his ideas to the margins, the patterns themselves have persisted, reappearing in places far closer to us than distant laboratories. You might be surprised to learn they are written into your own body. The idea of numbers shaping reality takes on new weight when we look at biology itself. Within the living body, patterns of vibration aren't just theories about energy, they are tied to real processes. Bioresonance research suggests that cells, enzymes, and even strands of DNA operate within complex fields of frequency, maintaining communication and balance in ways that mirror harmonic principles. When this vibrational network is in harmony, health and vitality appear stronger. When disrupted, many associate it with fatigue, stress, or reduced well-being. Every day, however, the body encounters forces that can upset this balance. The ubiquity of wireless devices, the electromagnetic fields that surround us, and even the standardized tuning of modern music at 440 Hz are all described by some researchers as sources of subtle interference. While it's important to note that mainstream science does not confirm direct causal links, many people report subjective changes in mood, calmness, or energy depending on the frequencies they experience. The evidence is mixed, yet the recurring theme is that vibrational alignment plays an important role in how we feel. Looking closely at biology provides examples that anchor the 3 to 6 to 9 discussion in measurable facts. DNA encodes life through triplet codons, groups of 3 bases that direct protein synthesis. The most critical building blocks of life are 6 elements: carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, phosphorus, and sulfur. These 2 simple facts, 3 in the genetic code and 6 in biochemical foundations, form a tangible 3 to 6 link. When extended, some proponents point to 9 as a symbol of completeness, though claims that it directly governs cellular cycles or functions remain speculative and unsupported by current research. What's clear is that the structure of life itself reflects repeating numerical motifs that have long captured human imagination. When frequencies fall out of sync, whether through external interference or internal imbalance, the result is often described not as outright disease, but as a state of dis-ease, where communication falters and the system feels off-center. Bioresonance therapy approaches this by attempting to restore coherence, applying carefully chosen frequencies to support the body's own patterns. Whether approached scientifically or symbolically, the aim remains the same: to return the system to resonance. And this is where the numbers move from being abstract patterns into something you can engage with directly. Beyond biology, many people apply 369 as a guiding structure in their daily lives, using it as a simple yet focused practice to align intention with energy. One of the most widely shared modern practices connected to the 369 idea is known as the 369 manifestation method. It has gained popularity online as a simple, structured ritual for focusing on personal goals. The practice is straightforward. You write down a specific intention 3 times in the morning, 6 times in the afternoon, and 9 times before going to bed. While it looks like repetition on paper, many see its value in how it trains attention and shapes mindset rather than in any mystical guarantee. This method should be understood as a personal ritual rather than a law of the universe. Its likely effectiveness comes from psychology, the power of repetition, habit formation, and focused attention. Writing the same intention repeatedly creates consistency in thought, anchoring the idea in your memory. When you hold a goal firmly in mind, you increase the chances of noticing opportunities and making decisions that align with it. For example, someone writing, "I will communicate more clearly," across the day might begin to catch themselves in conversations and adjust their words in real time. In the framework of the practice, each number also symbolizes a stage: 3 as the impulse of intention, 6 as the action sustaining it, and 9 as the point of fulfillment. The morning session plants the seed, the afternoon keeps your energy on track, and the evening reflects a closing cycle before rest. The numbers themselves may carry symbolic meaning, but the actual mechanism is the steady reinforcement of awareness and focus. Whether you interpret the numbers spiritually or psychologically, the method works by training your attention and aligning your actions, which connects with Tesla's broader theme that vibration and focus shape experience. In this sense, the 369 method is less about mystical power and more about becoming a clear signal to yourself, cutting through distraction and reinforcing coherence within your daily life. Online testimonials often describe increased clarity or a sense of empowerment, effects that align closely with what modern psychology would expect from focused repetition and intentional reflection. What makes this practice compelling is not whether it changes the universe directly, but how it can sharpen the way you engage with everyday life. From there, the next question becomes, how do you extend that same clarity and alignment into every aspect of your experience? Reclaiming your natural resonance is less about dramatic transformations and more about quiet shifts in daily choices. The environments we spend time in, the sounds we surround ourselves with, and the rhythms we allow into our day all affect how balanced we feel. If modern life tends to surround us with artificial or jarring tones, reclaiming resonance means creating intentional moments where we engage with frequencies that feel grounding and restorative. One way people explore this is through music. Some choose playlists tuned to 432 Hz rather than the more common 440 Hz. Proponents say the difference is subtle, yet noticeable, often describing the sound as warmer or more calming. If you're curious, you might simply swap a playlist for a few days and see if your mood or focus changes. Similarly, tools like tuning forks paired with meditation are popular in sound healing circles. The idea is that a fork struck at a certain frequency can help guide the body back into balance through vibration. Though the effect depends on personal experience, spending time in nature offers another direct way to reconnect with what many call natural rhythms, the Earth's own electromagnetic background, often cited in popular discussions as the Schumann resonance at roughly 7.83 Hz, is referenced by some as a kind of global heartbeat. Regardless of the science, most people have felt the calm that comes from walking barefoot on grass, sitting near a stream, or simply pausing in a quiet natural space. These moments often bring a sense of grounding that technology and modern environments rarely provide. The third piece is ritual. This doesn't have to mean anything elaborate, just a small daily practice where attention is gathered. For some, it might be a few minutes of mindful breathing. For others, a method like the 369 writing exercise can serve as a steady check-in, bringing clarity to intentions. The key is not which practice you choose, but how consistently you let it bring you back to awareness. Each of these approaches, music, nature, and simple ritual, offers a way to move closer to what many describe as natural resonance. And while each might seem small on its own, together they suggest that vibration is more than background noise. It is part of the structure connecting us to a larger order. Some thinkers describe this wider perspective as a kind of grand unified theory of vibration. The idea is that Tesla's fascination with 3, 6, and 9 was not about isolated numbers, but about a principle where energy, biology, and even consciousness all emerge from underlying vibrational patterns. When you place together the numerical cycles, the tuning debates, and the rhythms of life, it suggests a framework of interconnection rather than separation. In Tesla's view, the universe was not built from solid matter, but from layered vibrations that express themselves as matter, light, or sound, depending on their form. He intuited this long before modern physics began developing unified field theories. Today, string theory offers a scientific echo of that vision, with its claim that the universe's smallest components are not particles, but tiny vibrating strings. Different vibrations create different forces and particles, meaning vibration itself could be fundamental. In this sense, Tesla's intuition about resonance finds surprising resonance with contemporary science, even if his approach was more philosophical than mathematical. At the same time, many mathematicians caution against overstating what the numbers themselves reveal. The famous Vortex pattern, 1, 2, 4, 8, 7, 5 looping endlessly, while 3, 6, and 9 stand apart, can be fully explained by base 10 modular arithmetic. The digital root process is essentially just reducing numbers modulo 9, so the loops are expected results of the number system rather than proof of hidden cosmic design. From this perspective, the uniqueness of 369 is less a universal law and more a feature of arithmetic. Yet interpreters argue that even if the math is straightforward, the symbolism Tesla drew from it still matters. For them, the point is not that the numbers conceal a literal code, but that they remind us of the symphonic nature of reality, from physics and music to the rhythm of life itself. The tension between scientific clarity and symbolic meaning is exactly what keeps Tesla's legacy alive. It leaves room for logic and imagination to coexist.